Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office in Gainesville and also with offices in South Florida, covering the entire Tri-County South Florida area from Miami-Dade through Broward County through Palm Beach County, and also in our 43rd year in Marion County, where we have a huge grand opening coming up in 1 week.
Yes.
My name is Chris Qualman, co-host for this show. I am very pleased. I'm first going to introduce our guest, Ilene Silverman. I'm so glad to have you here, an iconic person, well known in Gainesville, but also second and definitely not least, my co-host for the day, Mary Reichart.
Yes,
How are you,
yes.
Mary?
I'm here. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me again in a different capacity, but thanks for having me back.
So we were talking before the show. You know, we've had a lot of firsts on this show. We are today in our 33rd broadcast
Super
since we
exciting.
started it.
Congrats.
We had, let's see, Alex Marvez, who was the first guest we had twice. Then we had Bob Ganzak, who we've had 3 times.
Wow.
You, though, Mary Reichart, is the first guest who started as a guest,
Yes.
and now she's a co-host.
I'm super honored. I'm really honored. So I went from guest to team member at Meldon Law.
You are.
To co-host. So Jeffrey has granted me this honor. It shows a lot of trust, and I'm really happy to be here.
And I think for those out there watching live, they're thinking, well, where the heck's Jeffrey Meldon? I mean, this show bears his name.
Where in the world is?
Jeffrey, as having a well-deserved, I won't call it a break. He's down in Orlando meeting with 25 other top attorneys, sharing ideas, marketing ideas, and so forth. So, Jeffrey, if you're watching this on your cell phone, hopefully we'll keep the ship afloat and do a reasonably decent job. Hey, we made...
I guess I'll be able to come back to be with Jeffrey.
You absolutely will.
My husband, Harvey,
That's
who's
right.
out there watching
That's
right
right.
now, who's on next.
We may just sneak Harvey in before the show is over. But again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends.
Yeah.
And we are live on Facebook Live. So if you have any questions, I don't think we told you that, Ilene. We are taking live questions on Facebook Live. All you have to do is go to the feed, go to Meldon Law and Friends on our Facebook page, type a question for Ilene. She's going to tell you all about her illustrious history, her family history in Gainesville, which is very extensive, very interesting. Before we go to that, though, Mary, who your title, you wear many hats at Meldon Law. You are a team member now. You are the Chief Marketing Officer.
Sure.
And that's a big job. When I started with the firm a few years ago, our marketing budget was a fraction, to say the least, of what it is now. You know, taking on the sponsorship with the Gators. Tell us about the challenge. How have you made that transition?
It's really a big opportunity, the way I see it. I didn't realize when I took the job that this space was so competitive. So the attorney space is so competitive, so you really do have to make this a priority and investment. And when Jeffrey came to me and said, you know, here's how I want to scale the business. Here are my goals for the business. And those goals are lofty. I know that if he's at this seminar today, he's going to come back tomorrow with a million ideas.
You've only been here a few months. Trust me, that is the truth.
A million ideas.
Trust me, he's going to walk in at 8 o'clock tomorrow and say, Chris, Mary, Carrie, Ian, Richard, boy, do I have ideas.
Josh, yes.
He is going to flood us with some ideas. And that's what's so great about him. He's constantly learning, sharpening the saw, and coming up with new things.
And he has so much energy. You know, you're the same way.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
So people, you know, that have that entrepreneurial spirit.
Gears you up.
Yes.
It energizes you.
Yes.
It
So I'm
definitely
here
does.
to kind of implement.
Yes.
You know, that's what I do. You know, I take all those ideas and work on implementing them. So
and I want to give a shout out to a guy that you're now working with. He has been our marketing director for the last couple of years, and it blows me away how young he is.
Yeah.
Josh Howard.
Yes.
Tell us a few words about Josh.
He's watching right now. So
I know he is. Hi,
I know
Josh.
He's like dying of embarrassment right now. I also am surprised at how much Josh has done without a marketing background. You know, he came in, he's going to law school. He's going to do really incredible things.
He will, no question about it.
Once he gets there. But what he has done and where he's taken this department thus far is just really blown my mind.
He was just a marketing assistant, I think, working part-time under a different marketing director when I first started the firm. Then she got pregnant, had a child, didn't come back, and all of a sudden Josh, I think he was 20 years old at the time or something.
Take the helm.
Take the helm, and he has done an amazing job. So thumbs up, Josh. We love you. Let's talk about our big event coming up
Yes.
in 8 days. We have
Yes.
got the grand opening. Eileen, we gave you.
You did.
We
I'm
gave
very
you your own
excited. I
invitation.
have my official invitation,
Yes.
Harvey and I,
Yes.
will be attending.
That's right. So tell us about the grand opening event.
We're really excited. We've worked with Freddie Weeby's marketing team, who has helped us organize this grand opening event. This is, as you said, not our first time in Ocala. We are not new to Marion County. We've been serving the Marion County area for over 4 decades. So this is a new office, a new location that we've taken over on South Pine Avenue. And we've remodeled the entire building. We've repaved the parking lot. We've introduced ourselves to all the neighbors.
It's incredible.
It's really becoming a nice little district for small business. So as you know, with Thornbrook Village, it's so great when small businesses can kind of come together and make those little districts. So that's what
Yes.
we're doing here, and we're going to cut the ribbon, and we're going to just kind of consecrate the new building. And we've invited Coach Steve Spurrier, the head ball coach, to be our special featured guest. He will be accompanied by the Gator mascots, Albert and Alberta.
That really excites me.
So super family friendly event. Wednesday, June 16th, starts at 4:30 p.m.
And it's open to everybody.
the
This is
public.
not an
Yes.
invitation only, even though we are giving invitations
That's
to our
okay,
good friends
Chris, I
like
understand,
Eileen and
Chris
Harvey.
Mary.
You're a VIP.
You're VIPs. Everybody's a VIP.
Thank
at
you,
Meldon
Jeffrey
Law.
Meldon.
Yes.
So let's make that clear. It's free. It's open. Whether you've been a client in the past, whether you've been you're a client now, or maybe you've never heard of us and you're hearing about us for the first time, come to the event.
Yeah, come and meet Jeffrey, meet our entire team. We hope that you don't have a slip and fall. We hope that you don't have an accident or an injury. But if you do and you need us, we want to make sure that you know us and you feel comfortable and you can call us right away.
And the location, it's 1326, right?
South Pine,
South
yes.
Pine Avenue. It's right across the street from the big hospital.
Yep.
And trust me, you won't miss it because there
good.
is you know Jeffrey, he doesn't do anything in a small
No,
way.
I appreciate that
let's
about
give
him.
some shout out to his wife Patricia, who's done an amazing job with the landscaping and everything else. It's been a team effort.
Yeah.
There's a giant sign, this giant electronic sign runs 24/7. It's got not just videos, some of the commercials you may have seen of Meldon Law. We also run community information, right?
Yeah, so if you have something that you'd like for us to share, please send it to us. Give us an email, help@meldonlaw.com. We have community events on the Marion County Digital Board all the time. So if you're in Marion County and you have a community event that's open to the public, please send it to us, and we'd love to consider putting it on our digital board.
So you've got some things a little off camera to the right.
Oh.
I do have some surprises.
Let's go ahead and introduce those surprises to our viewers.
So-
if you're a listener, you're just going to have to visualize these. So go ahead.
So one of the things that we are doing, we have these special guests, we have live music, we're having amazing giveaways, we're raffling off some really incredible items. So I just brought a few of the items to share. You know, these are signed. So as you saw, if you're a Facebook fan or an Instagram fan of Meldon Law on social media, you have probably entered to win some of our giveaways.
That's
We're
right.
so appreciative of everybody who entered to win the giveaways over the whole entire season. We are going to have a lot more next season. It's going to be really,
Absolutely.
really fun, especially as we see things start to open up, more capacity and everything like that. So
Yes.
one of the gifts that we got from each team, each sport, was a signed ball from whether it be softball, the Gator
Basketball.
softball coach, basketball, baseball. This is also signed, so it will be raffled off.
And of course.
then, of course, drum roll, we have the football. So
Yeah.
all signed by the head coaches of these incredible teams. So we're really excited to be raffling these off. They will be displayed and raffled off in person at our grand opening in Ocala. So definitely come down there and get your chance to win any of these amazing items.
Guess what? We've already got a
got a
question.
question.
And we're going to do them in reverse order. The
Oh,
first
okay.
question is, what is the Ocala Meldon Law office address of the grand opening again?
1326 South Pine Avenue in Ocala.
Can't miss it. It's one of the main streets going through. It's 441.
Yes.
So you won't miss it. Second part, though,
I got a
ties
question.
in our wonderful
Yes.
guest. Are we doing a Gator shirt giveaway from Eileen's?
Absolutely. It'll be one of our exclusive designs only available at Eileen's Gator Store.
Okay.
And we will have other items. We'll create a full basket.
Yes.
So we are excited to partner with you in this opportunity.
Thank
and
you.
appreciate what you and Jeffrey, the whole Meldon Law Office, is doing to assist this community and Ocala.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
doing
much.
that.
It enriches us.
I just want to piggyback on something you said a moment ago. We do want to thank everybody who, for the last several months, have been applying for tickets for all these sports. Jeffrey and I got to meet at the game on Saturday. Even though the result wasn't a very good result, we got to meet the winner of the Saturday baseball game. He sat with us. We had a great time until the score sort of got lopsided.
Right.
However, we want to let everybody know that it will roll through to the fall. The first sports, interestingly enough, are going to be volleyball and soccer. So just stay in touch with Meldon Law. Take a look at our website. What we've been doing in the spring, we'll do it again in the fall, is just go to meldonlaw.com. At the very top, you'll see a banner. Click the banner for information on how to apply for free tickets. So the first two will be volleyball and soccer, rolling into football and basketball. And I believe you have an announcement about something that we haven't even announced yet.
And I'm pretty sure we'll have gymnastics back again, which was super
Right.
popular too. So while we wait for next season, we will be having a Father's Day giveaway basket. So
Which means I can apply.
we have, yes, we have accumulated a lot of really, really fun, incredible things, both Gator things and things that we know dads love, grill related items. So we'll be debuting that on our Facebook page. So you get the heads up here first. Definitely follow us on Facebook at Meldon Law. And then enter for your chance to win our Father's Day giveaway basket.
Wow. Okay, so there you heard it from the Chief Marketing Officer, Mary Reichart. So how about
You
that?
heard it on the podcast first.
Heard it on the podcast first. So we've been speaking to you, even though we haven't really formally introduced you.
Okay.
So many
Kristen,
know
you
you already in Gainesville.
hope
Maybe
so.
not statewide, but I have a feeling a lot's due. Ilene Silverman, once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
and
Thank
we-
you both and Jeffrey.
We weren't going to get to this question till later,
I
but
know,
heck,
but I'm all
someone's
excited.
She's so
Someone's
excited.
asking.
Someone's
I'm jumping up
asked.
and down, even though you may not see it right now. Where is Eileen's Gator Store located? Eileen's Gator Store is here in Gainesville in the shops at Thornbrook, 2441 Northwest 43rd Street. But here's the thing. We have a new store from like 3 or 4 years ago, but larger.
Yes.
And we face right on Northwest 43rd Street. You just drive right up and come through our big front door.
It's very close to
And
my favorite chocolate
I
shop.
knew you'd
Oh,
say
I
that.
love that place.
And shout
I
out
love
to
that
Crevass's
place.
Florist. So
Yes.
there we are, next to chocolate and flowers and gator wear. And we have gator wear
perfect
for
combination.
women, for men, for kids.
Babies.
They do.
Babies, up to youth, and all kind of gift items. And we
Yes.
keep expanding as much as we can put in that big new space. And if you
It
can't
is
get
big.
there, we have an awesome website, eileen'sgatorstore.com, with free shipping always.
That's amazing. Free shipping.
Yes.
And you do it out
and
of your store.
out of our store.
That's
We're the
incredible.
mothership
Okay.
for the website. That's how I look at it. Even though people, when they order, may not realize that, but it's coming right from our own inventory. Our
That is
store,
really amazing.
My
It is.
nephew, Jeffrey Hyatt, runs the website with me and does all the fulfillment as one of his
a
different
family
opportunities.
business.
Yes, it is a family business. I come from a family business.
We're going to talk a
and,
lot
you
more
know,
about that. We're going to be cutting to a break in just
Certainly.
a little bit. When we do, though, we're going to talk about the iconic history of Silverman's.
Thank you.
I mean, it is really amazing. From your father, your families coming to Gainesville, really in the early 30s in the last century, and we'll talk a lot more about that.
Thank you, Chris.
Still, though, we want to remind everybody you are watching live today. We are Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. This is Meldon Law and Friends with, I don't really want to call you our guest co-host because you're always here. If you're not physically at this
If you
chair,
don't see me.
she's off camera. So she's been here really up for every episode since you joined the firm a couple of months ago. But
Yes.
Mary Reichart, you're doing a terrific job. Thank you so much for being here. And Ilene, you wear so many different hats. So maybe before we cut to break, you've got a television show, a
Yes,
broadcasting.
I'm very proud. The Ilene Silverman Show. We're probably up to about 565 episodes.
Boy, I thought we were busy.
This is a half-hour community affairs television show that airs locally on CBS4, NBC9, My 11, but it also airs, I'm very proud of this, on our WUFT TV, PBS station here, which goes throughout all of the 27 counties that WUFT TV reaches. So we do have a wider reach in North Central Florida, and the goal of the show is to give an opportunity to our guests to talk about their passion, their interests, many having to do with nonprofits that are making a difference in this community and beyond, and cultural and arts events, and one thing just leads to another.
Yes.
That really is
the 1
incredible.
degree of separation in Gainesville, and it's shrinking.
Yeah, boy, is that the truth.
Yes.
We're going to have to cut to a break in just a
Certainly.
moment, and there's so much more we want to talk to Ilene about. We may even bring on for the third and fourth segment somebody she knows very well. We know very well, her husband, Harvey Budd, who certainly has an illustrious career and community service in his own right. So I think we may be joined by Harvey. So by all means, do not change the channel. Don't get off the internet. You want to stick around and watch the remaining 3 segments. Again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law. We primarily handle personal injury cases, victims of catastrophic truck crashes, motor vehicle crashes, slip and fall, trip and fall, animal bite. We also do DUI defense and criminal defense. Whatever your question may be, though, even if it's something beyond those areas, Jeffrey, trust me, he knows everybody. Give us a call. We'll steer you in the right direction at 1-800-373-8000. We'll be right back.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. 2 forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello, and welcome back to today's edition of Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office in Gainesville and also with offices in Fort Lauderdale, covering the entire Tri-County South Florida area, and also in Marion County. We are basically a firm that covers the entire state of Florida, so wherever you happen to be watching, if you have a question on personal injury law, on criminal defense, or anything for that matter, give us a call toll-free at 1-800-373-8000. And today I want to get right to it because we have such a terrific guest. Mary Reichart, why don't you re-intro our wonderful friend?
Sure. We're here with Ilene Silverman, and we're so excited to have you talk about both your small business here. A lot of people support local, shop local, and especially since the pandemic, it's really been brought to the surface that this is something that's not only important for the local business, but for the economy as a whole in the community. So I love that one of the good things we can bring out of this situation is that we are highlighting and focusing on our local businesses more. And I really appreciate you doing everything that you could to tough out that pandemic. I know the website and being online probably helped.
It did help. I have to say, just thank you to all the friends who continued to stay with us, Ilene's Gator Store, to shop through the website, to text me, to come in, to still make us a part of their life, despite that life was changing so much.
Right.
What is that website again?
It is ilensgatorstore.com. But the spelling of my name, thank you to my family, named for grandmother Ida, but I'm I-L-E-N-E, ilensgatorstore.com.
I-L-E-N-E.
And sometimes that, confuses people, so I like to spell it, ilensgatorstore.com.
ilensgatorstore.com.
Yes. We went on Facebook. We did did video,
Curbside,
we did curbside delivery. We did wait quite a bit before we reopened, and yes, I come from the roots of a local business.
Let's talk about that.
That has been everything I've always known, and yes, and thank you, Chris, and I am grateful to this community because I think there's been a great emphasis on keeping local businesses, and that includes many types of businesses, including our restaurants.
Sure.
And we have 2 great restaurants in Thornbrook, and a shout out to them,
Yes.
Citron and Formaggio's, for bringing people to us.
Oh, absolutely.
And yes, my wonderful legacy
Yes.
in Gainesville, which is
An
why I have
entrepreneurial
a store.
heritage.
Yes,
Yes.
goes back to my dad, Joe Silverman, who came here in the early 1930s, bringing his bride, my mother, Faye Silverman. Another story, they eloped. But
I read that. I read
you
that.
read that. I know. I love it. I love it. It's a romance that lasted for them 52 years till we lost my dad unexpectedly. That was in 1986, but my dad had 3 different stores. So 1935, he opened his own. He moved here to manage a store from a gentleman in Jacksonville where my mother's family is from, and that is where my dad was living. And when he moved to Gainesville, he actually thought maybe he'd eventually go to the University of Florida. But, you know, things were different back then, and he just had to provide a livelihood, and this is what he knew. So he opened his first store, all his 3 stores, all around where Silverman's was, 225 West University Avenue. So just in that little section. But when he opened his first store, they all said, "Joe, you're off the square. You're too far away." No one, all shopping was around the old square downtown, like think Bo Diddley Plaza now.
Right.
If you went off the square, that was a block too far. My dad was like 2 blocks, and he said, "No, this is better," because this was, of
Start
course,
to
all
evolve
students
outward.
were male at University of Florida. So he said, "They'll come to me first on the way past my store. They'll come to me first before the square." And his idea worked. And he was a success, but he had Silverman's the Man store, and then in 1960 we opened Silverman's, which began for men and women with our tagline, "Worth coming downtown for."
I read something in the article that I pulled up that was fascinating to me. It shows the vision that your father had. That one of the most successful ideas he had was that he extended credit
Oh my
to
goodness,
students.
yes.
He knew that to get those kids in the door, to get them wearing the nicer threads and the nice fraternity suits and different things, he gave them credit. So talk about that.
Well, and it might have been $25, but back then that went a long way. And we had what we called a revolving charge account. I mean, I can envision our office. And so students and the local community, you'd pay a little against your account every month. We'd send out statements. So you'd pay a little, you'd buy a little, you'd pay a little more, you'd buy more.
It's like a credit card.
It was a
It's
credit
like a
card
visionary thing.
But before there was a plastic one.
Right.
My father already had that going. And Harvey and I, we share this wonderful opportunity to have heard from many people in this community and Gator fans who have come into shop who have said to us, "Your dad made such a difference to me." And that credit to say when they went out for a job, he made sure everybody got their interview suit. And my dad would have said back then, it didn't matter. Everybody came around and paid up. You just trusted people with a handshake too.
I heard something else that Jeffrey
good.
told me that's quite a testimony to how wonderful your father was. Jeffrey tells me that he was one of the first merchants, maybe the first, who sold to African Americans.
Oh yes,
He let them try on clothes, and that may sound like, oh, what the heck are you talking about today? But back then,
yes,
in
if you go back
the 30s, 40s, and 50s, that was a whole different ball game.
Exactly, and I don't think I'm the youngest of 4. A brother who was a CPA, Gene Silverman, with our firm, with our company, our store, and 2 sisters. But I don't think I realized then, and I even said to Jeffrey, I wish I could talk to my dad about it now. We hear that a lot, don't we? I don't think I realized what that meant, or that there was anything different, that other stores were not allowing African Americans in to try on clothes, that they just came to the back door and left, until my husband Harvey ran for political office, and then many of our friends in the African American community told me the story, came forward, continued they say it still now. And I just feel so blessed to know that I have this
What a legacy.
Yes,
That you
this
can be proud of.
I'm very proud of
And
it.
Yeah.
Jeffrey also mentioned that when your father passed, that quite a few of these African Americans who had bought clothes from him came to his memorial service and
Oh.
talked about that.
Yes, indeed.
So interesting.
were-
Mr. Butler, I used to work with
Oh,
Butler,
certainly, I
and
know.
Mr. Clark Butler has a very similar story. So there were definitely where he gave credit to the African American community, where other people weren't giving that trust, that level of trust, that level
Right.
of credit for fruits and vegetables. So during the Depression era, I mean, that was a really big
Oh, yes,
deal.
I remember those stories, and Deborah Butler is a close friend.
I know she is.
Another Gainesville gal.
Yes,
so we
and you're a
have our
native
shared, yes.
as well.
You
Yes,
you
are.
I
guys
am.
are
Born
legit
and raised here.
ACRs.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
And-
let's talk about though
Okay.
how you became Ilene Silverman,
did I
entrepreneur and
How did you follow in
media
your father's
mogul and
footsteps?
Well, I would-
broadcasting and so many things.
I would
Yeah.
say I never expected to have a store. My degree is in journalism. I didn't expect to live in Gainesville. It wasn't something my folks thought would be my path in life. If you really wanted to know, I would have liked to have been a singer and dancer on Broadway. But okay, so we'll go
My
past
daughter's
that
doing
one.
that. We'll talk
Oh,
about that
okay,
later.
Chris, we'll go to
Well,
that
she
later.
did the dancing show here.
Yeah.
I did win both awards.
You
For
did.
dancing, the local
Yes, you
Dancing
did.
with the
Dancing with
Stars
the
for
Stars,
Dance
Gainesville
Alive
edition.
National
I
Ballet.
love it.
Yes, oh, it was, yes. That's because I was working really hard to
you
make that
were.
happen, but it was a great, wonderful opportunity. There's so many opportunities in Gainesville, and if I hadn't have stayed, if I hadn't have come back here, I would never have had the opportunities to be
Wow.
a part of another community. This community has given me so many different options to thrive. And we talk about the lessons learned from my folks. One was to always give back to the community, to be a part of the community that you're bonding with. And even without your parents sitting down and telling you this, you just watch, you just know, you follow their lead. And that has been a driving force to bring me along. But when I look back on my life, I can't think of anything better than having come back here and stayed here and married my husband Harvey Budd, and it's just been a gift. And sometimes you don't know how your life will turn out when you're getting started, but you have to hope that the way it goes is the way it's meant to be.
Tell us about the show. Again, we
Oh,
talked a
thank
little.
you
We
for
talked
that.
a little bit
I'm
about
very
it last
proud of
segment.
the Ilene Silverman
Okay.
show. Way back when, with my relationship with our PBS station, WUFT, started many years ago because I was one of those people who came on air during the membership campaigns when you would
Right.
say, let's see, she's going to talk for
Call.
5 minutes, tune out. And that was live, yes.
Yes.
And that gave me a presence in the community on television. It kind of all worked together. At that point, I had my first store,
Right.
Eileen's for Fashion in Millhopper Square. And I saw that things were changing with that opportunity, and now it's all virtual. They don't use our local friends to go on air, but it did cement my relationship with our PBS station.
Right, and gave you exposure.
It gave me exposure. It gave me perhaps somewhat, the confidence, the thought, I could do this and I could talk to people, not for 5 minutes, but for a half-hour show, which is really 21 minutes of airtime. And I could be the host and producer, and I just started. I started because my husband, Harvey Budd, went from CPA to broadcaster. And in our life, we kind of have a joke that, when he was working hard to entice me to marry him, he said, stick with me,
Let's
I'll
hear your
put you
side
on
of the
TV.
story. Yes.
Let's tell Harvey jokes for the next 30 seconds,
Okay.
and then
But-
we'll
but
bring him on to rebut it.
It has evolved. It has evolved. And I think part of me wanted to perform, so I thought I'll be the host. But as the show has matured and gone through different changes in its format, I realize it's really my guests that are the stars of the
Absolutely.
Ilene Silverman show. And you know that too. It's what they're doing,
Yeah.
how they feel about this community. And I feel very grateful that they come on, they share their stories in a sense, what they're doing that's making a difference and why. And one person kind of leads you to the next.
Yeah.
So with that thought in
Just like
mind,
us.
Okay.
we're going to go to a break. Again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law. We've got a special guest coming up on the next segment. We've been talking about him. We'll hear
Let's do
his
it.
side of the story on
Let's
how
do
this
it.
partnership, marriage, call it what you will, evolved. We'll have Harvey Budd coming right up. Thanks for watching.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than not? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
The Meldon Law Firm from the beginning has been built on giving back to the community. I enjoy coming to work as much today as I did in 1971 when I opened my practice. I don't look at this as a job. I look at it as serving other people. While we're alive, what better feeling can you achieve than knowing that you've helped other people and thereby you enrich your own life?
Being a client at Meldon Law was special because I felt like I was really being listened to and I felt welcome by the entire staff. If I were in a situation where I needed legal advice and help, I would absolutely reach out to Jeffrey because his reputation alone speaks for itself. But on a personal level, I know that he would take care of me and help me solve those problems, and I would feel safe with him.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. Boy, do we have friends on the show today. I tell you what, we're living up to the name. My name is Chris Qualman. I'm very honored to be joined by our Chief Marketing Officer from Meldon Law, Mary Reichert. And as we had been teasing during the first segment, what would be Ilene without Harvey? Or maybe it's the other way around. You know, but
No, we're a team.
they're a team.
They refer to me at the bank as Mr. Silverman. So I call myself Mr. Ilene, chauffeur and, everything else in the world.
I love it.
I fill the, I take care of the cars and I fill up the gas tank.
Does she
Because
tip
she's
you?
worried about a close, gasoline getting on a close. So we've been doing that for about 38 years, going on 39.
39, yeah.
So
We
we're
got our
regulars.
pattern now.
Yeah, exactly. I know my responsibilities.
That's
Well,
very sweet.
Harvey is certainly, like Ilene, very well known to people who've been citizens of Gainesville and friends of Gainesville a long time, but you certainly, like your wife, have an extraordinary career of public service and community activities, and Heck, you've been a friend of Jeffrey Meldon for 50 years.
I
That says a lot.
actually remember when Jeffrey came to town and we became friends. And we have a
In like the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I came here in the '65. I started an accounting practice. At that time, it was above Rebel Discount. I don't know how to describe it.
I
It was
remember Rebel
It
Discount
was
very
across
well.
the street from the Holiday Inn on West University Avenue.
Okay.
It was near the business school, which at that time didn't have a school of accounting like it does now. And there were 3 accounting students, and we would rotate who was in the office. And I made, from February to April, about $1,000. And the minimum wage back then was like $1, $1.15. So $1,000 in a very short period of time. I said, this is for me. Boy, making money like this. So we began to do that. We started out with a little firm called Campus Tax Service.
Perfect.
That became Professional Income Tax Service downtown.
Okay.
Around 35 North Main. There was a restaurant called Phil Nick's Restaurant.
I remember Phil Nix.
And we were in the lobby of the building called the Cheops Building, which later on I had an interest in. I actually bought it with 2 other partners. And we started in the lobby there, and we had Lawton Childs came by and all kinds of people going to upstairs to visit. But it was a very interesting time, and that's how I got started in accounting. And then, of course, by the way, I was going to be a dentist, and I changed in the middle of my junior year to accounting, and that became 2 years later. I'd graduated. Within 3 years, I'd passed the exam. Compared with all the subjects I was taking, organic chemistry and comparative anatomy, accounting was simple.
Right? No, thank
Really
you.
simple.
No, thank you.
Thank
So-
you. No math skill
So
there.
I was here. So when Jeffrey came to town, I was already had a big clientele, quite a big clientele, and they loved me. I was the only Jewish accountant, and in a town where a lot of people like Jewish accountants, and they called me
Doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me. And I was very creative, and I learned how to work the attorneys,
All right.
and so I worked them.
Ah.
So we, again, are taking questions. Want to remind our viewers and listeners, we have people listening on 39 different audio platforms, everything from Amazon Music to Google Music to Apple, so many different things. So if you have a question, go on Facebook Live, type your question in the comments section, and we will get to it. Question, where can we see the Ilene Silverman Show?
Oh, thank you
my
very
God.
much. Well, one of our prime opportunities is to tune in on Sundays on your WUFT PBS station at 1 p.m. Now, I have to say, during the membership campaign, which is going on right now, which I used to be a part of, humorously, I get moved to 9:30 in the morning instead of 1 p.m. And we are on Saturday and Sunday, as I said, CBS 4, NBC 9, My 11. But if you go to our Ilene Silverman Show Facebook page, or to our website,
Nice.
ileneshow.com. We post the schedule for every new show
Okay.
that we do,
Perfect.
giving you a highlight of what the show is about with photos of us taping the show and being together, and the broadcast schedule. So we do that for every show.
And that's ileneshow.com.
Correct.
ILENE.
That's right.
Show.com.
Perfect.
Yes.
Do you archive your old shows?
Yes, we do. And they
Okay.
are all, by the way, on YouTube. Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
So every show that we do is available on YouTube, and yes, it remains there. And that can be reached through the Facebook page and through our website, or just through YouTube. But every show
Now,
has their link.
My understanding is that this guy to your left has some involvement in the show.
He's involved in it.
So you're no
Do you work
longer
for
an
him, or
accountant.
he actually works for you, though?
Well,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Well, what happened was to produce the show, you got to have, at that time, you got to have a studio. So we had an office building that was about 4,500 square feet, and we wanted to build, and at that time I'd built a TV station in Gainesville. We were originally WB53 and the Warner Brothers Network and UPN, and our branding was WB53 before we became CBS 4. So we built this building adjacent with a little walkway connecting the two buildings together. It was about 2,500 square feet, and put a studio together. And obviously, that was to do a weekly show, which was maybe every 2 weeks, that was Ilene Silverman Show. And she hasn't told you, but one of the deals I made with her. Of course, indirectly was, I'll put you on TV, you know, it's a great line, but it was really true.
But it was true.
I wanted to have her to be the brand of the television station, and I wanted us to fulfill the public service requirement because we didn't have news.
Right.
And we had to have so many
The
hours.
content, yes.
Yes, and we also had what's called a low-power TV station, which is called My 11. And that My 11, as a requirement, you had to run X number of hours a month or a week and with some public service, and you had to send that into the FCC,
perfect.
which we did. We fulfilled that requirement because we didn't have news.
It's a win-win.
It was a
win-win.
win.
Yes,
And
yes,
so,
that's sort of my
and
entree.
that kept us together until we had sold the station, and they.
This was before you were married.
And-
So it's a way
Well-
to spend time together.
No.
this is after-
No, we
this
already
is
got
after.
married.
He
Okay.
convinced me it
He
was the right
convinced
thing to
you.
do.
Okay.
Yes,
See, we had applied for the TV license.
Gotcha.
And actually, I didn't apply for the license because I didn't have much chance to get it. So we had Eileen's sister apply for the license. We had a friend who was a woman friend. And you see, Eileen's sister had a degree from the University of Alabama.
Roll Tide, sorry.
And her degree was in
She lives here now.
broadcasting. So in the old days, if you had a woman with broadcast experience, you getting a
Got
license,
precedence.
you were pretty
Yeah.
pretty high up in
There
the
you
pecking
go.
order in a comparative hearing. So I originally had the license assigned. I had it added to what they call a table of assignments. It was channel 53 at the time. Now it's not 53, but at the time, and we had added to High Springs because I figured, well, nobody will know it's Gainesville if we had High Springs. So that was just a ploy to keep the
All
number of
these little
filers.
tricks
Oh,
of
I
the
know.
trade.
I know.
Right, and then the hardest thing was getting the tower built. And the tower took me years to get the tower built, and we eventually were built out at Newbury, and where we have a tower that's 964 feet, carries NBC, CBS, and it carries My 11, and are all there, and along with the station that we still own, which if you had an over-the-air antenna, you'd get it on channel 8. And then there's another station which is a religious broadcaster. So
We'll have to.
I mean, that, you
well,
had no
I-
idea. It was not a slam dunk. This
Wait,
was all
First, I didn't
life
even
process.
tell you about the 4 radio stations I put on the air in Gainesville.
Oh my
I built
goodness.
for other people.
So I
were
take
friends.
it you were not an accountant very long.
No,
And
Not
then
in-
I
not
thought,
in the
much
traditional
more
sense.
fun to marry a gentleman that's a
Well-
broadcaster
Oh,
than
for
a
sure.
CPA, but he's still
So
my
he did it to
personal
get girls.
CPA.
One thing Jeffrey and I talked about last night. He called me to make sure. Now, Chris, I don't want you to screw this up. Of course, we're not going to. He told me all about the two of you. I said, I know them already, but you know Jeffrey, he's a
Yeah.
stickler for detail.
I understand.
He said, tell Harvey we're going to have him do his own episode of this in a couple of months.
Well,
so
yeah, there's a lot to tell. I have the scoop on Jeffrey in the early days, and I
Okay,
want to
that-
make
that'll
sure
be-
I
that
wanna
the
get
world
back to
knows
that
about
one.
Jeffrey.
you know what? Go ahead and tell us. Heck, this is
I've
live
seen some of
podcast.
the
I want to
hippies.
hear a funny
Oh,
Jeffrey
now
story.
you tweaked everybody's
Well, you know,
That's
interest.
right.
I
You
mean,
got to give us one.
obviously-
The boss is away. Let's go ahead and give
All
it.
right. Well, you know, he had that ponytail.
He was the hippie attorney.
Oh
Yeah.
my God!
Did.
Yes,
Ponytail.
Harvey was
and-
the hippie
JPA.
CPA.
I was
He
the hippie attorney.
No.
Yeah, so we had all these mutual clients, and you know, we look right. We looked like we came out of the ghetto. I mean, we were kind of wild out there, and I lived.
Or like a music festival.
Exactly.
Very, you envision it.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is a vision.
I sold, went up to the Atlanta Pop Festival, and I think it was in the 60s, and sold matches to people. You know what the matches were for, and they didn't have any matches.
No,
You,
no,
you-
not
you
your
mean to
place.
hold them up? No.
We don't know. Thank you, Chris.
Yes,
that was
there
good.
And we sold all kinds of things that we went into this pop festival. We actually were representing a client who was kind of a hippie client, and she and my partner was doing her bookkeeping, and we went up there. But that was the kind of thing we did
mean,
back in the 60s.
This is one reason I married him. I went, wow, this man
we
can
had-
go to a pop festival and figure out
We-
selling something.
And figure
Yeah,
out
we-
how
we-
to make
My
everybody
money.
life
was
is
hungry.
secure here.
We took all the money. We took all the money we had, and we went out to
This is a great one.
was it the Kentucky Fried Chicken, and bought their lunch snacks, a little box like this, and snuck them into the festival and
You
sold
did
them
not resell
sold
them.
them.
You did
Yes,
not resell
yes,
them.
resell them.
for a lot of money. And
That is
box of
called
matches.
entrepreneurial spirit if
That's
I've
what
ever
I
heard
mean,
it.
Chris. I went, We are made to be together.
No matter
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, we had such a great time. We went in my car.
That was way
but that
before
was
me,
way before.
but-
But Jeffrey's, he represented, he had, I guess, I'm not sure exactly how he got to Gainesville, but it was by a friend from Ohio.
Right.
And they brought him to Gainesville.
Which he's from Ohio.
Right.
Yes, his-
As am I.
Yeah,
Okay, see, there's
he went
another.
to Ohio State. He was from
Case
Cleveland.
Western for law school, yeah.
And we were both Jewish, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a big deal back then for us. And so there was a certain number of Jewish attorneys and things like that, and we really enjoyed our clients.
Mm-hmm.
And we not only were we were social friends with our clients. It was like a big community.
Right.
I cannot tell you how many personal relationships we had with everybody, and there were mutual relationships. When we were all young, we were all in our 20s, and we were all having a great time, and Gainesville was wide open at the time.
It was the
And-
Wild West.
And we were the
I was the good girl just going out with a few guys.
Yeah, there you go.
but we had a great time, and all these young Turks, but that's an expression that is used, the young Turks of Gainesville. Now we have a different generation, like
Right,
David
yeah, no,
Areola,
the
the city commissioner.
Back,
right
you
now.
know, we were
They're all the young
talking
Turks.
Albert Tabaji. He was a client of yours. We had him on the show.
Steve
Jim
Solomon, who
Forsman,
was
Steve
just on
Solomon.
the show, he and I went out. I mean,
You
we
and
go-
Steve went out.
We go way back.
Oh, my
we
gosh.
got
Steve and I
history.
went to Club Med together.
But
It
but
was-
look who won in the end.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
you know.
So
Both of
everybody,
us.
so
Yes,
everybody,
absolutely.
everybody
Oh my
knew
goodness.
everybody knew each other, and because it was a small enough town,
Right.
the university population was maybe. When I graduated, it was like 16 to 17,000.
it's nuts
So it
now.
went up to like 25. So you can imagine most of those where you take the medical students and some of the law students,
Right.
and you shrink it down to the undergraduates. There weren't that many people. So if somebody ran for president of the student body, everybody knew that guy or
Knew
girl,
that guy, yeah.
and the fraternities and all that sort of thing. There was
was
quite
a
a
whole
culture,
effort. Right.
and it was a lot of fun. It really was.
And I have to tell you,
That's
one
why I
thing
came
that
back.
I've seen about Meldon Law as
Mm-hmm.
coming here is Jeffrey still operates that way. We
Yes,
have had clients
I-
come
Oh,
and
yes.
he'll buy
It's
them
still a
groceries.
family. It's still
you
a
know,
family.
and
Yeah.
Oh,
we
that-
really
that-
are
Community
close
service
with
has
our-
always
Well,
been one of the
Yes,
hallmarks
I
of the firm.
understand.
Yeah.
We're
He
close
said-
with our
I feel
clients.
about
yes.
Eileen's Gator store too.
Jeffrey
we're just-
sent me
Yes.
probably 15 to 20% of my
Wow.
accounting business.
Wow.
He also had a very impact on my political life, of encouraged me to get involved in boards. And so he was a
Which
player.
led to you becoming city commissioner.
Yeah, I served
Exactly.
on boards. Had he not talked me into serving on a board where he dropped off after I got on.
But you might not have continued.
All right.
on.
We're going to
Cycle.
continue
All
this
right.
because
Okay.
we've got to take a break.
All
For
right.
it's our third and final break of the show, but we will be back with one more segment with Ilene Silverman and her life partner, business partner, Harvey Budd, well known in his own right. Again, I want to thank Mary Reichert, who has
My
been a
pleasure.
wonderful co-host.
Thank you.
I'm sure this won't be the last time you'll be doing this, so I think Jeffrey will be very proud of you and how we've done today. So you're watching Meldon Law and Friends, weekly podcast of Meldon Law. We will be right back.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, statewide law firm. It's interesting to get those words out. Statewide law firm.
I love it.
With its primary office in Gainesville, where Jeffrey has been practicing law. He's going to be celebrating his 50th
50th
anniversary as a
anniversary.
lawyer
Wow.
this year. So that tells you how far back Meldon Law goes in Gainesville. We also, in Ocala, 43 years. And we've also for, now going on 5-6 years in South Florida, covering the entire Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, through Broward, through Palm Beach County. Give us a call anytime, toll free, 24/7 at 1-800-373-8000. Or you can take a look at our website, www.meldonlaw.com. We have lots of information, lots of new content talking about personal injury cases, talking about the new insurance laws, lots of different things. Take a look at the website. And Mary, I want to talk about something we addressed in the first segment. Yeah. We've got the big Meldon Law, I guess we'll call it grand opening, even though we've been there for 4 decades, of the brand new office on Pine Street. And real quickly, talk about the giveaways and some other things about that.
Yes, and I'm so excited to announce that we have several local businesses participating. Paula, who you may know, she owns Agapanthus. She owns a store here in Gainesville. She owns a store in Ocala, Marion County. So she'll be contributing a big gift basket. We are going to have a big gift basket from our guest today, Miss Ilene Silverman.
Certainly.
So we're really excited. There's a lot of Gator giveaways because we are the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. So we're super proud of that. We love celebrating that. Coach Steve Spurrier, the head ball coach, he will be in attendance along with Albert and Alberta.
4:30 to 7 p.m.
4:30 to 7 p.m.
4:30 to
It's
7.
a family affair. Public is invited. We'll be giving away these amazing steel mugs that I take mine with me everywhere.
They are
my
wonderful.
kids have one now. I don't know who gave my
I'll
kids
be
one.
using mine.
You'll be using yours. So we're really excited. We have giveaways signed by the coaches that represent all of the ticket giveaways we did all last year. And then this year we're coming up with more ticket giveaways on our website. As well as our social media pages.
And real
so
quick,
follow along.
the Father's Day giveaway, that's coming up.
Father's Day. We just really like to give stuff away.
I know.
Generous.
It's very fun. So yes, we'll be putting together a big Father's Day gift basket with some Gator things, some grilling things. So follow us on Facebook. Make sure you're entered to win and just keep track of what we're doing. And it's all for the community. It's all because Meldon Law likes to give back.
And I know we can count on the two of you to be there.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Yay.
Very
All
much
right.
so. And I'll be putting together a wonderful basket for the giveaway.
Yep.
And feel excited to be a part of it and have that there to
Thank
represent
you.
Ilene's Gator Store.
Thank you for doing that.
And we
Great
want to remind our
opportunity.
viewers, even though we've only got about 10 minutes or so left in the show, if you've got a question for Ilene or even this guy to the far left, Harvey Budd, extraordinarily well-known, longtime public servant, city commissioner. He's worn so many hats. If you got a question for either Ilene or Harvey or for Mary, she's done quite a few things in her young life as well. Send us a question on Facebook Live. Just type it in the comments section, and heck, we'll get to it as quick as we can. We also want to remind everybody that, like Ilene with her program, we archive our old shows too. We're only on episode 33. We're not in the 500s like she is. Still, we're very proud of our shows, and you can take a look at them on our YouTube page or also on the Meldon Law Facebook page.
And Harvey and I are very proud to be a part of the Meldon Law.
And we're
Thank
proud
you.
to have
show,
you.
And we were just really excited to be asked by Jeffrey. And so we thank you.
So tell us about things that are coming up in Thornbrook
well, you
Village.
know, we've talked about local.
Yes.
And Thornbrook Village, we now say the shops at Thornbrook, but there we are. Thornbrook has been there
Off of 43rd.
off of Northwest 43rd
For anyone
Street.
who's not
It's
an
a
ACR.
Yes, it's a lovely park atmosphere. We've upgraded it. It's going through a lot of, meeting the new challenges post-pandemic.
Right.
And we're very proud. We have new businesses, and best of all, we are bringing back the Thornbrook Art Festival.
Yes.
I know, and that will be in mid-October. I think
Right.
it's the 16th. It's when we play out of town, of course. But a shout out to Joe, who owns Hogtown Music, who has moved right before the pandemic, moved into Thornbrook. He's
Right.
built us a stage in the
Wow.
courtyard. And
It was just
last-
made for live events. It
is.
really was.
Last
So there's a
Friday,
permanent
we had
stage
that-
now?
There's
Yeah,
a permanent
No
stage.
kidding. I need to
It
check
has
that out.
lights. And last Friday, or the Memorial Day weekend, rather, we had the Hippodrome Theater. They're doing a pop-up series, and
Yes.
they're going
No,
to
I didn't
different
know that.
locations.
Super fun.
They're doing a musical cabaret, and they were there, and we had a great crowd. Harvey and I, to mention the HIP, we went to their first opening night, June 4th. mask, social distancing, musical cabaret, live theater is coming back.
Yes.
I'm so happy, and Thornbrook wants to let people know that they can come to us, and
Yes.
we offer
Support
that.
small business,
Exactly.
get
Tell
entertained.
about the restaurant that moved
I
in.
know. I was
It's-
mentioning our
it's-
restaurant,
it's
Citron.
wonderful.
I'm
Yes.
hosting a big luncheon there coming up on Thursday. I'm outgoing president for an organization, Gainesville Women's Forum. We've been Zooming, of course, my whole year as president, but I have one last one time
opportunity.
in person to see everyone again, and they're going all out to make it extra special for us.
Wonderful.
We've had several events there, and for Maggio, a standby, the Italian food that they offer, Bagel Land still in the back. We're finally getting our
Love.
coffee shop up front. You remember
Do we
the
know what the
chocolate
coffee shop is going to be called?
We don't know.
We're not quite sure, so we
'Cause
don't
that's
want to
very
say yet.
exciting.
But
Yes.
we've been waiting. We are very excited.
We're very patient.
Homemade gelatos at your Thornbrook
Thornbrook
chocolate.
chocolate.
With a little
You know what I get
patio.
there is I get the sugar-free or no sugar
Oh,
added
yeah.
dark chocolate with almonds.
Yes, people love
Oh
that.
my
I
gosh,
get the
love
dark
those.
chocolate with caramel inside
Yeah.
and sea salt on top. Unreal.
Ooh.
Unreal.
And we are excited because, yes, there's going to be a football season. That's a
Yes.
driving force for
Yes.
Eileen's Gator Store. We are hoping to see some of those. Many came back, but there are a host of others that we haven't had the chance to hug again, or to
Right.
give the elbow bump or
Right.
fist bump, however we're going to move ahead. And so we look for, and that's for all of Thornbrook.
Right.
And everyone shopping local. We know it's coming back.
it's like its
building.
own little community, micro
It
community
is,
within the
it
community.
is.
We have a
Harvey's
number
on
of-
our board.
Yeah,
board
we
of
have a number of
directors there.
service businesses that serve different segments.
And the
of
gym.
And
Oh,
of course,
yes.
the women's gym.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but
My
tell them what the
favorite Gainesville Health location.
I go to the other one.
about
You go to
their
that one.
menu and what they serve.
Well, Citron is Caribbean. They actually have Floridian. That's their
Floridian.
Floridian.
I saw
Caribbean
that.
food, Floridian food, but special Hector, the owner, Hector Citron, and his sister
You
Wanda.
are such a wonderful
who is-
spokesperson for all these. You must do this
Thank
professionally.
you very much.
But go ahead.
I like to. Thank
Yeah.
you, Chris. Yes, they are together. They have special signature dishes,
Right.
and we love it in our store. People come past, and we go, "Are you going to lunch?" You know, I don't know what it is, but the moment you start talking with people, you discuss food. Do you notice that? And then
My
we discuss.
favorite.
Yeah. Then they're
Or
on the way
wine.
back from lunch. Wine works too. We say, "What was your favorite dish?" Like the corn avocado dish that I'll be having Thursday. So.
What new things do we have at the store? I
Oh,
know-
we have many new things. I mentioned that I'll be donating one of our exclusive designs, and this is something we have done for many years. They may be a license, they may not be, but it is still our conception, our design
The shirts.
of a way to show your Gator spirit on different type of shirts. We do small through 3X. We are knowledgeable about what is comfortable for women. We are multi-generational, but we do have a certain
sure.
focus, and we are known as the Sparkle Gator Store. So our
Look at the
special
sparkle you're
extra-
wearing
Oh,
on
that's
your
right. I've
wrist.
got my sparkles on.
I had read that actually that you have a mirror, a three-way mirror that your father had in his store.
You're right, we do. We still have it.
Yeah.
From Silverman's when we closed in 1989. It was one of the many things. We
Like
have
a
quite a
three
few
directional.
things
Oh,
still.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And we have talked about my dad, but I wanted to also say, my mother, Faye Silverman,
Yes.
my parents, Faye and Joe, they were partners, just like Harvey and I, and his parents
And
too,
parents.
were partners. He came from a wholesale background, from manufacturing in a small way through his parents. And I think that added to our commonality, what we
Right.
shared. And so it was my mother who started the ladies' department in the 60s.
So one
when-
wouldn't be where they are
Right,
without the other.
Without the other. And ready to wear was just opening up then for women. It was all changing. Fashion was changing. It was an exciting time. And my mother saw that. And that is, I guess, what kept me going and why I was enticed to continue.
Right.
And so my mother, Faye, was a large part of my wanting to continue in the store and become Eileen separate from Silverman's.
I want to address something in the last minute or two. Harvey, it was well known that you're a cancer survivor. It was
Right.
well known and documented in the media. I know this is an issue that's very much close to your heart as well. When you were a guest here, you talked about the foundation, you created, on behalf of your late husband. So just in the last minute or two we have, again, I congratulate you. We're so happy for you about your recovery. And I wanted you to say a couple of words maybe again about the foundation, because I know how important that is to you.
For that opportunity. And actually, I'm really grateful for Jeffrey Meldon, who recently participated in a sponsorship for Team Joey through the Rock School. A lot of it is going towards scholarships. The Rock School has offered my children a scholarship. That's where my husband went to school and graduated. And so a lot of it is geared toward education. For young children who have lost a parent, lost a provider in that way. So we're very happy. We have a Team Joey Facebook page, and my husband was going through treatment at UF Health at the same time that you were. And during the pandemic, I mean, it made it so much harder for your family not to be able to be there to support you. And I think what I experienced, you probably feel the same way, is that you begin to lean on the nurses and staff, and they start to feel like family. Did you have that same?
No, I was extremely lucky. I got most of my chemo out of the way before. I was halfway through my treatments. And lucky the store was closed. That
was a help, and we kept it closed longer.
And you were able to focus on your health.
Because I could focus on being with Harvey.
And so
the pandemic has some.
We ended up getting
unusual
PPP
pluses.
money, CARES Act money that kept the store afloat.
Oh,
We didn't
wow.
have to be open.
Gave us that peace of mind, and we could take care of my wonderful
and she
associates.
went to every treatment that I ever had.
We gotta wrap up real quick. Where can people find out about Team Joey?
Yes.
Team Joey is on Facebook. It's a group on Facebook, and we just kind of branch out from there. I answer every question and message directly.
All right. That's all the time we have. Wonderful guests. We're going to have both of you back, I'm sure of that.
We look forward to it.
Mary, thank you for the wonderful job you've done today. You've been watching Meldon Law and Friends. We'll be back next week.